You're listening to Opinions in Beer.
Wow. Put a lot of oxygen into the fermenting yeast, they go aerobic and they start multiplying.
Great American Ale-Off?
Cause of death. Dun dun dun.
It tastes worse than Bud Light.
Straight up 10.
Hey guys, this is embarrassing to say, being over a year into the episode, but one of the mics was messed up. One of our mics was broken, and therefore the audio on one of the mics is off and somewhat annoying. It is not present the entire time, but it is present. It's going to happen in the next 2 episodes, as we recorded 2 episodes with this problem occurring. Hopefully, we'll get it fixed next time. It's just that we're going to have to fix the mic. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Welcome to Opinions and Beer. I'm your host, Adam. Today with me, I've got Cody.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Cody's new to the show, so we're just gonna do a nice introductory episode, just shooting the shit and whatnot, chatting this beer. I got a fun little beer. I got a fun little topic that I believe would be fun. I actually tried to obtain a guest today, Cody, just for you. I was like, let's get a guest just for Cody to talk to, and the guest I reached out to is dead. So
Wow. Well, that's about my luck, so I'm used to that. But I was curious which direction this was going to go. And
I literally reached out to somebody, and they're like, "Hey, I seen they just released a book. Can I get them on the show?" Yeah, she passed away. Oh,
yep.
That's
Hello.
a marketing ploy. Just released the book, and she's dead.
Did they want you to? Did they offer you anything to throw maybe a call out to them?
Oh no, they did not. They did not offer me nothing. I am not calling them out.
Oh,
but
yeah.
they are number 2. I think the woman that's dead she's like number 2 bestseller right now on Amazon. So if you go and find the number 2 best-selling book about paranormal people and psychics.
Whoa, hey, good topic though. Good topic.
That is a good topic. But before we get into all that, Cody, guess what we have right here? We have the beer of the day. And today's beer of the day is brought to you by the Jolly Pumpkin Artisan Ales. They're from Ohio? Yes? It doesn't really matter where they're... Michigan. Dexter, Michigan. Why'd I say Ohio? It's whatever. Jolly Pumpkin releases... They're fairly popular amongst the craft beer community and whatnot. This beer is called HYRRoKKin. That's what it's spelled. I don't know how to say that. That's just gibberish to me. I know, it's just
5.7% alcohol though.
It is 5.7, which I'm going to get into that because this is a fruited oak ale. This is actually all the beers that Jolly Pumpkin make are sours. Well, most of the majority, every beer except for like a handful are sours. So most sours are below 3%. You know, they're like 3%. They're really light beer. Sours,
I didn't know that.
Sours are supposed to be light. And I never knew how some of these brewing companies were achieving higher than 3% sours. If you don't know what a sour is when you let your barley, whatnot, your mash, you let your mash wild yeast gets into your mash. You let it happen. It's like let it happen.
Yeah.
So how they get these sours higher above 3%, because those wild yeast they don't live well, and so that's why they convert sugar very lightly, and that's why you only get to 3%. But these brewing companies, instead of adding yeast during the fermentation process, they're actually fermenting beer and then opening up their fermented beer and letting wild yeast interact with the yeast that's going to bump that alcohol up. So it's actually, so I mean, it's like, it still gives it that sour, tart taste that they're aiming for, but it's kind of cheating.
Okay. Yeah.
Cheating. It gives them, it's not they're definitely not traditional sours. That's why a lot of them, you'll see it labeled Berliner Weiss, and then just tarts and whatnot, and that's just because they can't morally, because they can do it legally, but they can't morally call it a sour because it really just isn't.
Yeah, yeah. The alcohol content, basically, what it comes down to, or
Basically, kind of, yeah.
the way, like what you just explained.
Yeah, just how they brewed it. You know, it's just not traditional.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So they as soon as you change things when you make beer, it automatically basically changes the style of beer.
Yeah, and can conditioned. I've never seen that on a beer. What is?
Okay, can conditions is basically they did not kill the yeast, so this may explode.
Awesome, sweet.
That's
okay.
the only can condition is basically instead of carbonating it with CO2, they let the yeast stay alive, and it self-carbonates.
Got you. Okay, good. Ought to make the beer fresh.
Hell yeah. This bad boy was aged for 23 months in an oaked fruited barrel. It was aged with blood orange and ginger. Yeah. Good stuff. You want to try this beer?
Yeah, hey, let's open her up, man. There we go. Let's see.
Pour this beer.
Do the master pour.
I know, yeah, you do it. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm just fancy.
The new guy's doing it better. He's doing it good.
Hold on, I forgot to put my damn pinky out though.
Oh, yeah, I know, right?
I forgot. Bad etiquette.
Hey, look, it's a sour beer that has. It's a fruited sour beer that isn't some Willy Wonka color.
It's real pale, real pale.
I know. Yeah. I almost got, dude. I was trying to. I woke up super early just to try to buy a Willy Wonka beer, and and they were sold out. They sold out in 2 minutes. So it's like, fuck me.
Wow. 2 minutes? What were you saying? It's a Willy Wonka?
Well, that's what I call it.
Oh,
It's
okay,
like, it's got like these colorful, because like a lot of breweries,
Got you.
their sours and tarts and Berlin Weiss are always like super colorful. And I was gonna get they made a blue coconut one. Over at a brewery near us, and I was gonna go grab the blue coconut one.
Wow. Okay.
But it sold out in 2 minutes, like literally 2 minutes.
Wow.
It sucked.
So you check out a lot of these. Man, I've seen that a lot of the microbreweries been popping up around here. It seems like it's a big deal. So I know there's a Nature's, I think.
Yeah, Nature's. I was going to go to Struggle Street to get this one. Struggle Street, man, they sell out of their stuff so quick. I don't know if it's because they're super micro and they're only canning so much. I don't know. I don't know how much they're canning.
Struggle Street, that's the one. Like I said, I knew about Nature's Brewing Company is a little bit older, but like you said, the Struggle Street, I heard about that, and it's a lot it's all over Facebook locally right now. So.
Oh yeah, because I mean they sell out quick.
Yeah,
everything they do is sell out. But Poor Brothers is the other one. But Poor Brothers is in all the stores.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard that.
Poor Brothers is way more. They've made their beer way easier available. I've just been sitting there pouring. I'm trying to get it a good picture before I drink it.
Oh, hopefully I didn't.
No, you're good. I'm not trying to do nothing. I'm just gonna.
Man, I'm first time podcast. I'm ruining it for you.
No, you're good.
But I mean, I see where you're saying. Like I said, I don't think I've ever had a sour type beer like this. Like I said, my brother always introduced me to like a lot of IPAs, stuff like that. You know, years ago, Hopadillo. You know, and all that stuff was kind of getting big. Never really had a sour. Now, like I said, it's really not bad.
HYRRoKKin. Okay, I'm gonna try that. Let's see what.
HYRRoKKin. You gotta say it.
What does blood orange taste like? What would you say blood orange tastes like? What are you getting from this?
It's most alcohol bitter, but it's really not like. If I can, I said what I compare it to is like what bitter to me is a grapefruit, and a lot of beers use grapefruit. Like I said, it's not. It's not as heavy on the bitterness. It's got a slight aftertaste, but I mean, I really like. It's got the perfect blend of sweetness and that tart. It's got a slight tart at the end, but it's actually a little sweet going down.
You know, the taste of this is more so like a traditional sour, but it tastes really. I mean, it's good.
You don't taste the alcohol content, like I said, for it being that. You know.
Oh yeah.
You know, like I said, I really.
Not at all.
I don't know.
I mean, it's a solid sour. I kind of hold traditional sours up against cup beer. That's what.
Okay.
You never had. I mean, you may have not ever had cup beer.
I know I've never had, but I know where you're following you. Though.
Yeah. Okay. It's like ramen noodle sour beer, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like where I hold the standard, because that was like one of our first traditional sours to drink. and so I've just kind of judged everything based off that particular beer.
Got you.
A lot of them fall below that beer.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
A lot of traditional sours are just not that good. I'm like, man, ramen beer was better than this.
God, you got something to go off. Listen, like I said, for me, it was the grapefruit. I have a grapefruit tree that is in my house, and it produces so many we don't even know what to do with it. So it's just that's the closest thing to bitter that I can compare to.
I like that this beer is a little thicker than the average sour, or the average traditional sour, I would say. It has definitely like a thicker taste.
Yeah, I was gonna say it does. It is different.
I'm not sure I get the ginger, but I'm not.
In the aftertaste a little bit, I guess that's like I said. I don't know. I don't really normally.
I know I've had more ginger. These are such weird tastes. Only because I don't drink. I don't taste these things very often.
I was about to say, you know what? But now that
you
you say it, ginger ale-ish. It does have a ginger ale-ish.
Yeah, that aftertaste.
Now that you say that, I'm kind of like I said. I can know where that in the aftertaste. It's definitely there.
Good stuff. Good stuff, actually. I'm gonna hold off a rating though. I'm gonna drink a little bit more of this.
It's like I said. I really
I give it a rating. I like the cover art of this, man. That cover art's badass.
It's a badass can.
What's that? A dead nun? What is she?
It's a nun with some
apples. Why is there apples on this?
And then
or is that blood oranges?
Limpwort root. I don't know. What is that?
What is she holding?
Oh man, I don't know.
She looks like the witch.
That's like barley and.
I think she's supposed to be the witch of.
Well, she makes damn good beer.
Who? The witch from Snow White, the Snow White witch. Doesn't she looks like the dead Snow White witch.
She's definitely got some good beer though. It's really not bad, you know. Like I said, I knew what I was kind of when I came here. I was like, man, he's gonna have some crazy beer for me. You know what I mean? So I knew something was gonna be up.
HYRRoKKin. I can't get over that name. It's such a random. Jolly Pumpkin's so random.
Yeah, Jolly Pumpkin, and then the name HYRRoKKin. Yeah, it's different. They got a cool little insignia for their company too. The little JP, the pumpkin.
Oh hell yeah.
But like you said, overall a good can, cool can.
Now when I see weird looking dead people and whatnot, I think of the occult. Do you know anything about the occult, Cody?
Yeah, I'm sure somebody, a little birdie, might have told you. I said, yeah, I mess around a little bit. I do.
You mess around with the occult?
No, like I said, I mess around with. Yeah. I can't tell you. I'd have to kill you, but. Man, like I said, I get into it a lot. I try to take in everything. I don't discount anything. So, like I said, I guess conspiracy theorist, you can say that. But like I said, I don't necessarily believe everything that I take in. But I do research a lot of things and look at all points of view, you know, evenly. Yeah. Maybe not evenly, but, you know, everybody's biased to a certain point. So
we've actually had a conspiracy theorist on the show before. I don't know if you've seen that guy that got thrown out of the vape shop. Over in Georgia, he was like in a viral video. He was in this viral video where he gets thrown out the vape shop by that redhead dude. And he's like, "Get out of my store! Get out of my store!"
I'll have to see this.
He's like, "I'm trying to buy my wife some vape juice. God damn it!"
And he thinks it's about a conspiracy against him.
No. Well, he got popular. He got pretty famous and got a following after that. And then he's like, yeah, I'm actually big into all this QAnon and all that stuff.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, man, I've done, like I said, a lot of research into that, and that is really like what you say. That kind of threw it way over. You know, I started watching the QAnon. It's a YouTube series, Follow the Cabal.
Yeah.
Man, we fell into that, and I binge watched that really quick, and a lot of it was information that I had already kind of bumped into, and it kind of just put everything together, but. It was an interesting documentary, but like I said, I don't ever. I like to kind of joke around with people or mess around, and I'll troll maybe and say like, oh yeah, like, you know, like this whole virus is a cover up for a pedophile scandal, you know, because that's what, you know, I guess the QAnon thing is all about. But like I said, I don't know. So
yeah, what do you think about the whole 5G angle of it? What's your thoughts on the 5G?
Man, I've read some crazy the whole 5G things, you know, man. Like I said, there's so many different.
What's really weird though is that it's a lot of energy workers that are really in this QAnon because of the 5G stuff. It's all these energy workers that work the 5G stuff.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are saying, "Hey, this is bad."
Kind of whistleblowing it. Yeah. And then, you know, like there's the theory that, like I said, there's some kind of timeline that proves like every time we, you know, like I said, you know, like everyone's got to have the latest and greatest, best phone. It's you know, remember when 3G was the thing. And then, like I said, every time that there's been a major pandemic, they say that it's been associated with a rollout of this new G type internet. Well, man, like I said, that's that's going crazy. Like I said, I mean, I say crazy, but like I said, I don't know really what to think about that. Like, that's not really where, as far as I go into the conspiracies, but that is something that I wouldn't discount, because I mean, like, you look at things like microwave, you know what I mean, stuff like that's really small scale, but I mean, it's really not good for you to stick
Did you see
your
how
head
they
in the
invented
microwave.
microwaves?
No, what did they do?
You know how they invented microwaves? They basically let a bunch of people on a ship die.
Yeah. Like I didn't want to claim to know, but like I said, man, like I said, exposure to certain things. Like I said, I definitely don't think 5G.
That's how people figure stuff out. Is they all died by things.
Like like I said, like us putting this phone next to our head. Like that is, I don't agree with that at all. Like I definitely think on a small scale that stuff's messing us up in a certain way because it's not natural. But for the government to be projecting it as a population control or whatever else you might have heard, I'm not sure. That's kind of what I heard is the 5G or 4G. It's projected, and like I said, it's projecting this, and it's not good for our bodies. It makes people sick. And
well, I mean, electricity isn't good. You see these people that live under power. You'll see people that live under power lines and whatnot, and they start like seeing ghosts and shit like that, and they like get crazy. It's because just living under anything like that that's putting off that much bad stuff.
Energy. Like energy, like electricity is a weird thing. Like it's weird that you associated electricity with the paranormal, because that is a weird thing. Nobody really understands electricity. It's like such a weird thing. Yeah. I mean, there's an understanding because there's obviously engineering around it and this awesome 5G internet we have and stuff like that. But I'm wondering if it is like held back, like we're taught in school that Thomas Edison, he's the man. He's got chapters associated. He's the father of electricity, but really Nikola Tesla was. Like us people that have kind of like come to realize that, like, holy shit, this guy was kind of stiffed, and you know what I mean. So that's just one of those things. Like like I said, electricity. I feel like like people say it's all dangerous and crazy, don't touch it, but then Nikola Tesla did all these crazy experiments with it where he was touching stuff that he had such an understanding to it. Yeah. Where it was he had it under such control, it was weird. And like I said, now but then he died, and now Thomas Edison took all the flack for it, and now it's like this thing that's like, oh, it's got to be specialized. I don't know. Like I said, it does seem like something that's a little held back and weird. And there's some kind of mystery to electricity, but
they say that 5G and Wi-Fi type technology was kind of like Nikola Tesla did have fundamentals. Yes.
Wardenclyffe Tower. Like I said, he already designed Wardenclyffe Tower, and like I said, it was already built. And like I said, you follow me. Like I said, I'm glad about that. But like I said, it's that whole association with electricity. Like I said, that's definitely things that, like I said, kind of started my whole Nikola Tesla, and it kind of made me think, I guess what turned me into a tinfoil hat kind of guy. I was like, whoa, this guy really got screwed. And like I said, that's scary, the things that he was doing, and how you know what I mean, how it was like a big conspiracy against him to knock him down and delay his technology because he wanted free electricity. He thought that he tore up his own contract to GE, to Mr. Westinghouse. Like I said, I mean, he was trying to do whatever he could to just help out humanity, and that the scary part is we'll never know him, or we'll never really know the truth. It's the scary part of it.
It is scary.
A lot
of things we won't know the truth. There was a guy that there was a story back in the day, like Windows XP. Windows XP back in the day.
What is that? No, we're old enough. We're old enough for that.
Windows XP back in the day, where a guy, he invented a way for cars to run on water or whatever, and then the CIA killed him in a.
Dude, I've seen that. It's on videos on YouTube of that.
Oh, really?
I don't know if they still are, but I remember seeing videos. He was an older guy, and it was hydrogen based. He was using water, the hydrogen based fuel. To run his car, and like you said, I never really. That was whenever I was still younger, and I read something about that. Like I said, and I remember it said something about the government killed him.
Yeah, because he screamed, "Oh, they killed me!" He was in a restaurant and he ate something and he screamed, "Oh, they killed me!" and he died.
See, I never, I remember that story. I remember that in the early days of the internet for me, But I feel like now, being as old I am as being around the internet, I feel like now I've a little bit I kind of know what to kind of, you know, you have that feeling when you're searching the internet what channels to believe and whatnot. Or
But do you think that the internet's being policed more so today than it was?
yeah, definitely, man. It's hard to, you know what I mean. Edward Snowden confirms that fact. You know what I mean. And the things that they can do with technology, like us sitting right here, it wouldn't surprise me. But who would want to listen to us to?
Oh no, they're tracking. You know, they're tracking. They can.
Everything's pinged.
I was listening to him about the Edward Snowden thing where you can ping everybody. How they're rolling out this coronavirus thing to find out, you know, where you are, whatnot.
Well, like I said, that was on our local news channel just recently. It was like about a week or two ago. Like I said, I could pull it up on KFDM's website. It was like, hey, you know, like according to the state government, like everyone's not doing what they're supposed to do, and it says like literally, it says in the article, we used anonymous cell phone data. Anonymous cell phone data. And it mentions the company. I don't remember. There's a certain like information collecting company that is using our anonymous cell phone data to track our phones and just basically ping us. You know what I mean? Everybody that, as I say, like you're saying, we know that it's all trackable and stuff like that. And basically, what Edward Snowden says is just kind of like, I don't know. It's just kind of a thing you got to get used to now because there's so much technology around us.
Yeah.
You know, everything's electrical and everything's got a signal that's screaming, "Hey, you know, here I am."
Here I am, just brain cancer. That's all you're gonna get.
Yeah. So that's probably what's wrong with us.
We
right
can
now.
live with it.
If it's not, it's definitely not the beer. It's probably definitely just all this shit we're around.
I know, right? Right?
For sure.
Speaking of coronavirus and life and whatnot, man, you think that everything would be topsy-turvy. You know who's making a killing right now? Psychics. Is that weird?
You just surprised me with that. You just surprised me with that answer. So I'm gonna need you to elaborate.
But is that a weird profession though to be to even succeed? You know how many psychics there are in the neighboring town? There's like 4 or 5 psychics in the
There's
same
one that
block.
actually drives a nice car and a nice little house right there in Bridge City.
Dude,
you know, that is, like you said, that is a weird thing to be.
that's the lady I was trying to get a hold of, a psychic, and I was going to bring her on.
Really?
I was going to bring on a psychic lady, but and I found out her book's actually number 2 right now because apparently she predicted coronavirus in 2006, and so now her her book's like super famous.
Well, it's probably not hard to predict a pandemic though. But maybe did she say? Do you know she said
2020
a virus? Like, did she say like a virus?
Oh, I didn't read the book.
Because like Nostradamus did that kind of stuff too. You know, kind of like But I mean, that's kind of fucking weird. He was way back in the day predicting stuff. Like, I mean, but like I said, I guess if you're vague in predictions, you know, you're almost kind of
What are your thoughts on psychics?
Man, like you said, you mentioned occult, and I was kind of thrown off guard, honestly, by when you asked me right off the bat about the occult, stuff like that. But, man, you know, like I said, whenever I think of the occult, I think a lot about, like I said, let me, like, what are you asking me right now? Like, what do I think about the practices? Or...
Yes, practices of psychics.
Yeah, man... But that goes back to like the energy thing, man. Like I said, people give off energies. Like I said, you know, it's really, really weird. You know, I'm going to kind of reference your Michael Jai White.
Yeah.
You know, he mentioned to you guys, like, hey, when I walk into a room, I know a guy that's a ninjutsu guy. You know what I mean? Like, he mentioned, I know, like, and you're like, what? Like, dude, like I said, I don't know if everybody can do it, but I get certain vibes about, like I said, this is going to sound weird, about, like, I grew up around Mormon people. Okay. My friends were Mormon, like, and I can literally just be in a room with somebody and just be like, this guy's Mormon. You know, he practices Mormonism, and it's so weird. Like I said, but just,
I can do that.
Well, like, you can tell them. Like I said, they're the best people in the world. They'll give you the shirt off their back,
and they all look the same.
Yeah, they'll give you the shirt off their
family.
back. Yeah, yeah. They wonder how that happens.
Goddamn polygamy.
Yeah. Hey, I wish I could get into that, man. I might be Mormon here soon. Oh, hello. That's my brother speaking of right there. But, man, like I said, so the practices, like I said, but anyways, like I said, so like back to energy, like I said, feeling off of people. So the psychic thing isn't, I don't want to disapprove it. Like I said, if it's what, like I said, I feel like if you really believe in something, you know what I mean? That's what's really good for your health. Like I said, me being like a conspiracy theorist, and like I was telling you, like I can't even focus on one thing for 2 minutes. You know what I mean? Like this conversation is going to get worse as we go on, and as we drink, it's going to get worse for me. So,
Okay,
like, and you're going to
cool.
be like, "Whoa, this dude's like everywhere." So, and I'll forget. I'll be like, "What was I talking about?" So, like I said, the practices of the occult. Like I said, I think that. Like I said, if that's what you're into, that's whatever. Like I said, I like to do me and do my thing. But like I said, that is, I'm gonna say, interesting. I like to learn a little bit about everything, and like I said, whether it be a tool for whatever, whatnot. Like I said, just information's cool. So, if you really believe in the practices, then that's cool. But like I said, whenever it gets into like we're talking about the QAnon stuff like that, well, like they're talking about like drinking adrenochrome, people's blood. That's, I said, I don't know, like. Hey, I'm talking about you do you. If you like to drink blood on your own time, that's okay. But when you're drinking children's blood, like innocent people's blood, like that's fucked up, you know. Like, I'm about to have a baby, you know. Like I don't want you to eat like a abort, you know what I mean? That's crazy stuff.
Don't drink the baby.
Yeah, don't drink the baby. You know, like I said, I mean, don't kick the baby. Don't drink the baby. You know, like don't do anything to the baby. You know, it's innocent.
Shit. Put it down. Put the baby down.
Yeah, don't eat the baby. You know, like so that like I said, so like. I don't know, like I said, but that's also getting into like whole other beliefs that I believe in or try to believe in.
And
you
some
know,
are just con artists.
Exactly, like I said, you know, like I'm gonna read your fucking future. That's a little bit off the wall. Like I said, I mean, I believe in like you know, like the tarot cards, like you know, the energies, like something's about to happen. You know, like that's a little bit more believable to me.
Okay.
To for somebody to maybe predict like and to give those vague predictions we were talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like just be like, Adam, hey. I think in the next 2 years, your life's really going to change. You know what I mean? Then you're going to have a kid. You know what I mean? Like, that's something like you can be almost with. And,
Super vague.
Yeah, not
Super
maybe
vague.
not super, but you know what I mean, like that.
Yeah, some are just extra vague, just to be
Just to be extra right.
some just have caller ID, and well, one time I prank called a psychic. I would we would get this Weekly World News.
Yeah,
it's like a newspaper. In the back of it, there's always advertisers for like the occult, and so it's like it's always like psychics and whatnot. And so we just went down the list and started prank calling psychics because that's ironic to me.
Yeah. Y'all should know I'm coming, right?
Exactly. And we had I don't think I did most of the talking. Someone else did. He's like, "This is Bobo." Bobo? It's like some Asian lady. Bobo?
You know, you're talking to China or
and
India.
they're like, and something happened, and we hung up, and they called back, and they're like, "You live in Galveston, don't ya? See, I'm a psychic. I know I'm gonna come kill ya."
What?
We just screamed,
Bitch.
we screamed in the phone, but it turns out that our town, this town, and Galveston have the same zip code. And so they just tracked our same area code maybe, so it's like 409 or whatever. And so they just they just use caller ID to say they're psychic.
Yes, hey, I got the internet. I'm psychic too.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, hey, if that's all you need to qualify as a psychic, then I'm good. I'm like a fucking, I don't know, brainiac. So I can read your mind.
But who would you trust more? A psychic, I had him in my head.
That's a bad place to put him. In your head.
I know. A psychic. I just had the there's two more.
Dude, you got to come back to it. Like I said,
Yeah, okay.
I mean, they say you're getting to a trust thing, and you got to remember, like, what are we trusting too? Like, that depends a lot. Like, if it's my life, on the line, you know.
I guess who to give your money to? Who are you giving your money to?
Like
this one is
religion,
a psychic, a dream reader, or a hypnotist. Who do you trust? Who's
that's actually a good, like, fuck one, kill one, marry one.
Yeah. What's your fuck one, kill one, marry one? Psychic, hypnotist, dream reader.
Man, marry the hypnotist. That's right off the bat, because I think they make pretty good money. I think they make a little better money because, dude, like, you think about the high. Did y'all have the thing at y'all's high school where, like, the
You
hypnotist
marry them
come by?
for their money, not for their powers.
Well, dude, of course. Because, like I said, I don't have that much faith in their powers for me to, like, really.
I think most hypnotists are men. So I don't know. Have you ever seen a woman hypnotist?
I don't research hypnotists too often, so I'm gonna find the woman hypnotist. Let's just say a man or woman. Like I said, I'll marry the hypnotist, whichever male or female.
Okay.
But for the money.
For the money.
Man, like I said, I would think the hypnotist skills or that thing would come in a little bit more handy because I think people are a little bit like, you know, hypnotists have so much more range. Like, I can hypnotize you out of smoking. I can hypnotize you out of being a fat fuck. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
sorry, man. I can hypnotize you out of being this kind of person. You know what I mean? So like, and people are like, you know, people have, and it's crazy to me like how much money people have. Like, I enjoy playing video games, and it's crazy, but it is a little bit crazy to me that like my wife watches streams and people will just pay like. Well, they will donate
Money.
a lot of money.
A lot of money.
A lot of money. Like, you'll just be sitting there watching a stream. Up so donated $500. I'm like,
Yes.
Jesus Christ, that would have hurt. You know?
My one of my previous co-hosts is a professional streamer.
I mean, dude, we're in the wrong. I mean, I hope this goes somewhere, man. Somebody make us famous, please. Somebody thinks nobody thinks we're funny. I'm sure, but somebody's got to.
But okay, so you're marrying the hypnotist.
Yeah, I'm getting off track, man. Oh my god,
No,
you're gonna bring it back to me.
You're
Well,
good.
no, you're gonna bring it back to me, and I really was trying to avoid it,
Oh, why?
man. Because okay, because the next one's hard. You said a mind reader, so I'm with a mind reader or a psychic, right?
Psychic and a dream reader, a dream
reader.
interpreter,
Dream
a dream
interpreter.
whatever they are. Yeah.
Okay.
They're all
I'll
the
kill
same.
the dream interpreter because I really don't even know too much about that. Like I said, I don't even.
They
know.
interpret people's dreams.
Yeah, well,
you
it's
pay
self-
them to tell them.
Yeah, and you tell them your dream, and
They're
they
kind of
just-
like psychics, but but it's very specific.
Yeah.
They're psychics in a
That's-
way where like they tell your life and what you're feeling through your dreams. Dream interpreter.
Yeah, kill that one.
Kill the
that.
dream interpreter. Okay.
And then I'll just fuck the psychic and see what she says about my life and whatnot. Then I'll go back to my hypnotist.
Did you know that I was coming?
Exactly. That's what I would want to know.
Did you know?
Did you know? You should have known. Like the time and date. It would have only taken 3 seconds. So there you go. And I'm out. Back to my hypnotist. And he's gonna hypnotize me into thinking I'm doing a good job there. So like I said, that's what I would do. I said, and I think, like I said, mainly focused around the money because the hypnotist, like I said, is definitely a versatile craft.
That has a weird thing too. That's a weird thing too. The sexes of people. I feel like hypnotists are generally men, and then psychics are generally women.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't think
It's
about
so weird.
I didn't think.
I don't see too many. I mean, I've doing my research. I've found some men psychics, but the
Yeah,
majority have been women, and I thought that was.
I want to say that the hypnotist we had, like I said, the only hypnotist I know is like at this Project Safe graduation deal. I think it was a man and a woman team. But
Oh,
mainly
really?
the man was the I think. And like I said, you know, you see the same kind of skit performed throughout different hypnotists. You know, like where they get a bunch of students up.
How full of shit is that?
Dude, so full of shit, man. Like I said, I was like, come on, like. I mean, like I said, but the people that they chose, I was never really like, you know, that really worried about. Like, go to that dude, or I was never really that close of friends with them, or really talk to anybody to like ever really figure out the outcome of that. I said, and I've really never even researched it. I'm sure they're just like, hey guys, you know, we're about to do this skit, you know, like go along, it's gonna be super funny. I'm making a bunch of money.
Do you think that's what happens?
Do
you think so?
That is, because I'm sure that's what everyone thinks. But like I said, I mean, for me to be proven wrong, I'd have to be hypnotized.
Because I don't. Yeah, exactly.
I would have to be the one up there. Like I said, since I wasn't the one.
And they're very. I think you have to be like very relaxed and like weak-minded or whatever. And then, like, because we had a guy go up there and he was like, "You're gone," and he just like stood there like, "Oh, you're resisting it. Go down."
Yeah. Like I said, see, man, and I don't know. Like I said, and I don't know if it was like. They're trying to find the sheeple. I don't hate to use that word, but they like finding to use the sheeple people that are like this person really wants the attention, so they're gonna really just go along with what I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like the experiment where like 30 people in a room and like one person's in on the whole deal. You ever seen that?
Yeah.
The bell rings and like every time the bell rings, he'll stand up randomly and then sit back. And then like soon enough, he's got the whole fucking room standing up with him. Every time a bell rings, it's like a waiting room for like a doctor's office, and like. That's the kind of thing I was wondering if that's a hypnotism type deal. To me, that's like your mind being tricked in something like
Yeah, it is.
You know, and like to me, that's where the hypnotism comes from. It's kind of like the psychic thing. Is if you are, I'm glad you mentioned it. Like I said, because I didn't want to sound like a prick or an asshole. Because I might be a weak-minded individual. Like I said, in my opinion, I don't know, but I don't feel like that I would fall for something like that. Like, I'm like, no, this is bullshit, because I really want to know deep down to the core if something works or not. Like I said, but it might be cool to be the hypnotist.
But I guess that person may not be able to get hypnotized because they're so like, is this gonna work on me?
Yeah, like come on, bitch, hypnotize me. you know.
So that's not weak-minded. Wanting to know, I feel like the people that want to know and are always asking questions, they are the least weak-minded people.
But like I said, but see, I don't know. You'd have to catch me on the right day too, because I don't know if the hypnotist did walk up to me. Like I said, I don't know what happens, but if he did walk up to me, he's like, all right, guys, hey, like, or if he's whispering to me in the middle of the show, like, hey, this is you gonna play along or not or whatever. You know what I mean? And I said, man, like, I'll play along. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like I said, for the most part, I would be like, hypnotize me, motherfucker. You know, like, I want to be hypnotized. And like I said, if it didn't work, I'd probably start ranting, like, in the middle of the show.
And people just act like they weren't.
Yeah.
I should message that lady.
That would be cool to talk to somebody. Like, if we could have a conversation with somebody, that would be great.
I tried.
That would be great.
I tried my best. You should see me this morning. Like, any hypnotists out there want to talk? Any psychics?
How do you go about finding like that kind of deal?
Just looking.
Yeah.
Just looking. I can't explain it. You just type it in.
You use the internet.
You use the internet.
And I was gonna say, me and you were talking, about like you do like in these emails with like famous people's like managers. So then I thought that was kind of cool. But like I said, it's, I guess, like you kind of, if you think down to it, if you just want to talk to somebody, of course, but that's kind of cool. Like I said,
but really finding the emails is the hardest part. Like finding who to talk to.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but when you find that person, like,
but you just gotta look. You just gotta look and do. You gotta use your detective brain and just.
I was about to say send so many emails out because because I mean, dude, like I know me, like I don't respond to emails very often, but like I said, and also like people are different about how they respond to things because there's always that person that'll get the message or look at the message and just be like, oh, okay, and be like, hey, what are you doing? They'll just go, oh, and they'll close it and they'll forget about what they're doing, and then like I said, I think managers deal with a lot of the same thing. They're getting messages from the people, and then they're just looking at them like closing.
I think it's a whole different. It's kind of different. I think they do look because I get. Sometimes I'll get emails back like way late.
That's what I was gonna say.
But it's very like, and then those way late emails will be like very, oh no, we're busy. We're busy.
Well, see, like to me, I'm like, I want to say, hey, motherfucker, why don't you just say that right off the bat? Yeah. Like you want to be like, hey, but like I said, and what I was getting at was like, man, it must be so hard for you to find like you said, the right email. Like, and when you email one, you're just kind of like, do I wait 3 days? Do I wait 4 days? Or did I even get the right email or a bullshit email?
Yes.
So you have to like, do you just like email like however many you think? Like there's three of them. Yeah.
I've had to email. Sure. I had to email somebody, and I'm like, hey, I'm trying to get. Who was I trying to get? Andrew Dice Clay. I'm trying to get Andrew Dice Clay on the show. He's a famous comedian and whatnot.
I think we're on Rogan's show, huh?
Yes, I think so. I think he's done Rogan.
Yeah.
So I was trying to get Andrew Dice Clay on the show.
Whoever, man, you never know.
And I emailed who I thought was his manager, but he was that person was like, we no longer manage him. You have to message these people. So I messaged those people, and they were like, hey, we'd love to help you out. Who are you messaging? Who are you trying to get a hold of again? And I said who I was. And I've yet to get a response back from them. But there's things like that happen where I have to just resend my pitch because I usually attach a pitch of what I want them on the show to talk about this.
That's the catcher. Like I said, you have to have something interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe they want to talk to you. That's cool though. That's awesome that you got. Like I said, the Michael Jai White. That was awesome, man. Like I said, that's what's just amazing to me, and what made me bring up the conversation yesterday. I was just, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, dude, he's for the longest time, he's my favorite guy. He's
so underrated, and you know what I mean. He's so underrated, dude. As a martial art, as an actor, as a martial artist, because I just think he's too real.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, for Hollywood.
Way too.
But I don't know. I don't know anything about that culture. That's a whole different culture, all that. But
he's pretty business. He's kind of. He kind of just goes with the flow kind of guy.
Oh yeah,
he's a very go with the flow kind of guy. I've noticed that he's just kind of like. I'll do something. Yeah, I'll do stuff.
Whatever,
I don't know.
Man,
I don't know.
Yeah, that was cool. Like I said, but like I said, I only listened about 45 minutes in, and maybe I missed. But I said I'm going to ask you. I said we want to get back on topic of what we were talking about. But he mentioned that his martial arts. I don't even know did he ever mention like why he got into martial arts. I remember he said, "Man, I've always been into martial arts," but I didn't know if like he said he grew up in New York. I was kind of curious. Like I was wanting to ask questions.
I think he did say something about his like maybe his dad or like he had like some sort of like
That's what I'm saying.
just trying to be the tough guy. He was trying to be like just the tough guy.
That's all I was gonna say. A lot of the generic stories like, I was picked on as a kid. It's not a bad deal. But like I said, I was just curious. Like I said, I listened only.
I think he may have just been into it.
To
be honest,
it was only about 40 minutes in. I listened to it and I was kind of curious. Like I said, I was just gonna ask you. I was like, because that's like I said, I'm a fan too.
Yeah.
But I've never really, I didn't really think to look into his background that much or anything. But when you mentioned that you interviewed him, man, that was amazing. I was like, man, he's such a good actor.
I know.
His martial arts is awesome.
He's
Blood and Bone. Best movie.
Michael's awesome, and he's got obviously Black Dynamite, and he was working on. He's working on the basically the sequel, not obviously because it's Vanetta Jones. We talked about it in the show, but Black Dynamite is a Vanetta Jones film disguised as Black Dynamite, and the sequel is called Outlaw Johnny Black, which would be the Vanetta Jones sequel.
Got you. Really?
It's the actor Vanetta Jones playing Outlaw Johnny Black. So that's like
Yeah,
that's
it's
the
like a
weird
sequel.
thing.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the weird
weird.
thing about it. But he was filming that before all this. He's supposed to be releasing it soon, but I don't know if if his plans got canceled or not because of all the COVID stuff. Because I know he was working on it in like December. So I mean,
Hopefully
that's like
everything
right
rolls
there.
out with that because I'd love to see some new stuff. Like I said, underrated martial artists like Michael Jai White, Tony Jaa. I don't know if you're familiar-
Tony Jaa.
dude. Like I said, there's a lot of underrated guys that I feel like but martial arts.
Whoever that main character is in The Raid, I can never remember.
The Raid.
Did you watch The Raid? With
No.
Iwo Kunis or whatever, whatever his
No, I
fucking
didn't
name
see
is.
it.
He had a cameo in one of the Star Wars films, and then he's gonna be in the Monster Hunter film, the new. It's like based off the game Monster
Really?
Hunter.
Yeah, I know the game.
Yeah, he's gonna be in that with Mila. Mila.
Yeah, Resident Evil. Yeah, Resident Evil. I love her. Yeah. Awesome.
So they're gonna be doing they're doing a film together. Maybe that's Tony Jaa. Maybe I'm saying the wrong stuff. Maybe Tony Jaa's in that movie. I'm getting martial arts mixed up.
Maybe. That's awesome. Like I said, I feel like there is a lack of like martial arts movies.
Yeah.
It's kind of a dying thing now. Like I said, there's like like I said, for in the past 10 years, like the UFC got really big, and like it was like Never Back Down, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that was good movies. I watched them like a one time watcher movie type deal for that.
Did you talked about the series? Did you watch the series?
No, I didn't watch.
Because
a long time ago.
Because he's in the second one or whatever, and the third one.
Dude, yeah, I think he's in Never Back Down too.
The first one?
Is he? No.
No, he's not in the first one. He's in the second one, third one, and one of them is in Beaumont.
Really?
Yeah, well, I think it's the third one. I think the third one.
I'm gonna have to check.
Yeah,
that out.
he's the third one. He's all like, "What are you doing in Beaumont, Texas?" It's like,
Really?
what are you doing in this shithole?
Yeah, it's a shithole. I remember everybody. This place
I'm
is a
avoiding the
shithole.
city and all the complications. Whatever he said, whatever.
This is a shithole. Glad everybody recognizes that. It's the armpit. But
What a random place, though. What a random place to have. I escaped to where? To Beaumont, Texas. That's when, and I think that was around the time that Beaumont had a pretty decent. I don't know if it still does, but I think they had a pretty decent MMA scene.
Man, we like I said, we used to. Like I said, around the time it got big, like I said, around 2008, 16, 18 era. Like I remember they had right there at the Beaumont Civic Ford Park, or was it the Civic Center before? I don't even know, but they had what is it called? Rage in the Cage, the Texas Rage in the Cage. Man, a lot of local. Like I said, you were able to sign up. The fights in the audience were awesome. I said people would get, they sold beer. So if the fight in the ring was boring, like I said, you could always look to the crowd, and there'd always be a couple of drunk, Affliction T-shirt wearing guys that would go at it, and it'd be awesome. So
Pretty funny.
I said, it was actually pretty good. And I actually had a friend. He's a Green Beret right now.
So what are some of your final thoughts on the occult that we were talking about?
Man, like I said, dude, like I said, in all honesty, like I said, I want to say, like, as a person, political belief or whatever, you say, like, you do you, whatever. Like I said, if you're in the occult and you believe that it's doing something to you, or you practice that's in your free time, that's your hobby, that's okay. But like I said, when you start hurting people, or like I said, if you go that deep in the occult, I think there's certain levels of it.
Yeah.
You go into the certain deepness where, like, you're, like, hurting, like, messing with somebody like an innocent person. Like I said, man, we're going on with the QAnon stuff like that. That's weird. But if we're gonna talk about psychics, mind reading, stuff like that, hypnotism, man, like I said, I don't know if there's much power in it, like in a reality.
That's low level occult, I guess. You think that's low level occult?
No, man. Like I said, I don't really know what high level occult is either. So, like I said, I just don't know. Like I said, but like I said, I think that I'm glad that you brought it up. Like I said, I feel like it's a how strong individually you are, like in your mind or whatever. Like I said, if you believe or not. But like I said, sometimes I feel like I believe in so much shit, or I take in so much information. Am I weak-minded because I'm like taking in all this, or like, but the fact that I don't really believe in it is a little bit of a barrier.
Do you know anybody that? I mean, how are psychics able to stay afloat? Like I said earlier, there's multiple of them.
I want to know how that lady still has that house in Big City.
Yeah.
You know, like I never see any other cars there.
Like who uses psychics? Who uses them? Do you know anybody that uses a psychic? And do you think they'd admit it? Do you think they would admit to using a psychic?
I think normally someone that is that they believed in it. Like I said, I think they would be just like any normal person that maybe like would push their beliefs on somebody else. Like, man, you got this problem in your life. Oh, you need to go see this psychic. I got this great psychic. You know what I mean? Or you need to see this person. Like I said, I don't know. Like
It must be expensive.
But see, I don't know anybody. It must be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It must be expensive and like a very short clientele that they can make their money off a very
cluster.
Yeah.
And like maybe they don't need to try as hard. Like back in the day, like before the internet and stuff like that was like a little bit easier and more believable. If you the further back you go, the more the occult is believable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, that's where like a lot of religions are based off of. Is basically the occult, like stuff like that. So like the further back you go, people used to believe in crazy things. Like people believe in the craziest shit. So like I think the further back you go with the occult, the more it's like kind of like this. Kind of like what you're raised in or what you grew up in and what you believe in as far as what you're raised up in to believe. So that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But like you said, I'm glad that you brought up the whole mind thing. I think it's on a closing note, I think it's just individually how strong you are mentally and if you believe it or not.
So you cleared your beer, Jolly Pumpkin, HYRRoKKin. Out of a 1 out of 10, this is your first beer to rate on Opinions in Beer. So give us what you think, a 1 out of 10, what you think this beer should be placed at. Okay, so in our rating scale, if you put it at a 5, you'd buy it again. Under 5, you would never really you would never try it again, and then it goes from there. So it's like,
yeah, I mean, I'd put a 10 at like I'm gonna buy this every time now. Like, so I'd probably say, man, honestly, it's something I would buy again if I seen it. Because like I said, when you were saying sour beers, like I said, I'm a newbie to the whole like I said, I've tried different IPAs, but I don't know as much about it. But I would definitely probably rate it about like probably a 6, man. Like I said, 'cause it's something I would buy again if I seen it. Probably, like I said, if I seen this in the store, like I said, I don't even know where you picked this up. I imagine Specs, something like that.
No, Miller's discount liquor.
That's awesome.
Miller's discount liquor. They get a lot of craft beer in.
Okay.
And it's basically like it's kind of the craft beer shop. A lot of people might say that Longhorn Liquor is next to Kroger.
Yeah.
So, but Miller's does sell their beer a little cheaper than Longhorn, and they have a few distributors that don't go to Longhorn. So I like going to Miller's.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I would definitely pick this up. Like I said, I've seen it again. Like I said, of course, though, like I said, my rating, take it with a grain of salt because I don't have as much experience.
Well, I might actually agree with your rating. So I had a sour the other day, and it had a little bit more flavor to it, and it was like 6 point something %. It was a little higher in alcohol, and so it was just a better. It's a funner drink all around.
Yeah,
the last sour I had was just a funner drink all around. And with the flavors that are supposed to be in this, I feel like the flavors don't come off strong enough for me. They're there, they're subtle, but it being pretty bold right here on the label. In fact, it's a fruited oak. I wasn't getting enough fruits for me to label this any higher than what I rated the last week's beer. And so I'm gonna agree with you. I think it's definitely a buy it again type of beer. So I'm gonna give it a 6. Yeah, 6.
Yeah, I
Six
mean,
with you, man.
I'm glad that I said. I mean, I don't have a lot of sours to, compare it to, but like you said, I mean, I think your rating scale's probably a good way to rate it because I mean, like, dude, think about how many craft beers and like how many there's just got to be thousands. You know what I mean? So crazy. So like, I mean, to rate something on a really high scale.
There's a new one every week.
And you know what I mean? To rate something on a really high scale, I feel like you'd have to be like, this is my new beer of choice. Like I said, if I rated it any higher than an 8, I feel like that's like something I'm drinking almost on the daily or like almost every time I pick up beer. But
no, the beers I've ranked 10 are expensive, and so I buy them occasionally. Yes,
quality, man.
I buy them occasionally.
Yeah, I got you. Like I said, but I think you get where I'm going with it. Like, as a rating scale, I like to be a little bit more conservative instead of saying like, oh my gosh, like I did enjoy this beer.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna say it's a 10. Like I said, just because I'm trying to be a little bit more conservative to the fact of it.
You've been listening to Opinions and Beer. We were drinking HYRRoKKin. Gave it a solid 6. I know I say it like that every time. Gave it a solid 6. Talked about the occult. Talked about psychics. Talked about a lot of things. We gave our opinions on a lot of things. Do you agree with our opinions? No? If not, well, guess what? I'm sorry. It's just our opinions. And that's fine. Because all we have here are opinions and beer.
We are a million and billion.